JSE's CEO Leila Fourie says the rate at which capital is leaving South Africa is one of the issues that's keeping her up at night. So what causes investors to take their money elsewhere?
The stock market is supposed to be a reflection of the general economy, and meaning if the economy is not doing that great, then it means those companies which are working in that particular economy or operate in that economy, then those companies won't do well. And as we've seen with our local economy, that it has not been doing that great in the past few years, so it's not surprising to see our stocks, especially those which are called South African in companies, not doing that great. And now for seeing foreigners selling some of our stock, it's not surprising because they've got other options to go and get a better return somewhere else.
Another analyst points directly to the country's political situation.
One is more the the governance issues around the country. I think the second issue is the relative attractiveness of our market compared to other emerging markets. I certainly think that, I looked at the data, and the other emerging markets have actually been getting inflows, and we have been on the outflow side. So certainly there has been a relative attractiveness issue there.
Investors, both foreign and local, will likely have got more jittery following the July unrest, which resulted in untold damage and which businesses and affected economies are still reeling from. But even though this has been the case, the rand has not faltered to the extent that could have been anticipated. There is, however, a school of thought that the rand's relative strength may not last for long due to higher inflation in developed markets.
And I certainly think that the inflation situation in the US is building up. We've looked at data on the wage side. The wage inflation is building up. The imported inflation is building up. The house price inflation in the US is also building up. At some point, that inflation is going to come through in the numbers, as it's already started. But it may come through on a sustained basis and may force the Fed to actually change their stance on rates outlook, and that might actually put us on the back foot again from a rand point of view.
There are also concerns that a number of JSE listed companies have delisted from the bourse, while there seems to be very limited appetite for companies to list on the exchange.
Remember, the reason you list is because you want to raise capital. And if you can find an easier way to raise capital, definitely you'll do that. Remember, when you are listed on any stock exchange, you have to meet some requirements. You have to comply with certain issues, let alone the fees involved.
In order to boost business confidence, more work will need to be done in implementing structural reforms, the progress of which is still not yet discernible. With greater business confidence will come greater investment in the real economy and capital inflows into the country's bond and equity markets. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.